Positivity is a contagious thing.
Absolutely.
So you're a positive person, you can spread positivity. You're a grateful person, you can let people see life through that lens as well.
It's like this. Gratitude is on the top floor, which means the highest vibration. Unhappiness is on the lowest floor.
Basement.
You can't be on both the floors at the same time.
That's beautiful. I like that.
So when you've chosen to go onto the top floor, you will not be in the basement.
It all begins from within, right? Because our whole thing is about, how the inside self will change to be able to create the outer world.
Cricket changed everything around. And the one other thing that I learned during the cricket, one was heaven and hell is in your head. Two is that you have to learn to live in the moment, be in the moment. The third thing is that, in life, and for someone, say, who's in the media, there'll be people who like you and there'll be people who don't like you. And the people who like you will love you. Great, thank you, grateful for that. There'll be people who don't like you also, and you can't change their minds. So what I learned at that time is that, there'll be people who like you and there'll be people who don't. And what's more important than getting everybody to like you is just be the best, truest, most honest, earnest version of yourself. Just be yourself. Be true to yourself. That is what is important.
Change your thought to change your life.
That's right. Absolutely.
Life is a sum of your choices. From what I'm hearing, the choices is only gratitude at every point.
But it should be.
She knocked it out of the stadium as the first female cricket anchor, the joyful fitness icon, multifaceted actress, author, social media star. I can go on for over 2 decades. She has charmed and made Indian cinema very, very different through her own style and her own way of, creating the area and energizing everything that she has been a part of. The mesmerizing, multi-talented Mandira Bedi. Welcome to this edition of the ThinkRight podcast. And with you, we have, of course, our, ever radiant, ever loving sister BK Shivani. Welcome to both of you to being here, and really looking forward to a conversation today which is going to touch upon many aspects of both your life as well as see how we can come out with something that will be very valuable to your audiences, your fans, to everybody, and see how we can make society a little better at the end of this podcast.
That's such a lovely thought, and ThinkRight is such a beautiful platform where you invite people and they share their experiences, and there's always something to learn from everybody. So what a lovely platform. Thank you, Rajan, for having me. And I have to tell you, before we start with the questions, all through COVID, that's the first time I heard you speak, Sister Shivani. And I used to go for long walks because that's all we could do at the time. And I used to listen to you, and your words are so beautiful. They gave me so much encouragement and so much strength. And I really believe, Rajan, I have manifested this moment here with Sister Shivani, because I just said that I must meet her at some point. There'll be an opportunity where I'm going to meet her and come face to face with her and tell her how much I admire her. So it's my absolute pleasure being here, and I must say I am very grateful for this moment.
Thank you so much for being here. Actually, the ThinkRight journey is about affirmations, and we often talk about creating affirmations in the external world,
Yes.
like what you said,
Yes.
meeting people, getting things done. But, it all begins from within, right? Because our whole thing is about, how the inside self will change to be able to create the outer world, the way you want it. But I must say, Mandira, whether you call it the Mandira's way or however we want to describe it, when you open up your social media, it feels like a replica of the ThinkRight app.
Oh.
It seems like, you make your own affirmations and, you will do this and you share it with the world. And I think
Yes.
it's such a important part for people to see you say something and see those things happen. How did this part start? Take us a little bit, through your own little journey on this path, and maybe then, touch upon different
Yes.
aspects of your life.
Yes, sure. I mean, social media, a lot of people consider it a very negative place. It's a place of comparison. It's a place of, oh, she's doing this, or he's doing that, or he's over there and I wasn't invited, and they're together and I should be. For me, social media has always been a place of a great amount of positivity. You know, there's the algorithm. So whatever you want to see, wherever you stay, that's what you get more of. So my algorithm is only positivity that comes my way, nothing else. That's all that comes my way as far as the feed that I receive. So I've always, looked at it as a place of positivity, so I like to put out positivity as well. I've used it as a platform to put out my workouts and my fitness regime and my diet, because people have asked and I put it out there. And then I decided somewhere along the way that, let every third one be what my state of mind is, or what I'm thinking, or what I'm feeling. And, the words which are mine are mine. The words which are not mine, which are just anonymous quotes, they're anonymous quotes. And the ones which need to be, given due credit, I do. Yeah. But it's just a thought at that particular point of time. It's not just to inspire me, it's just to inspire anybody. There's so many people who I meet at events and at work who say, we love those little handwritten notes of yours because, this is just what I needed today. Yeah. So very often people open it and there's something like, grateful heart is a magnet for miracles, which is a very oft used, maybe a bit cliched quote, but it is so true. If you actually get down to it, if you're grateful, beautiful. There's a lot to be said about gratitude. But I'm just saying, when people see it, they feel motivated. When I put it out there, I feel motivated. So I look at social media as a place of absolute positivity. I use it to inspire myself. I use it hopefully to inspire others as well. And that's how those little notes happened. And sometimes I have to tell you, I'm telling you, only you this. There are times when I have to put a post for a brand or put a post out and I'm like, oh my God, my third handwritten note is not written. How do I complete the grid? What am I thinking right now? Let me quickly write it down. I quickly write down something, take a photograph and put it out there because I have to maintain the 1, 2, 3, right? Right. But people have looked at social media as a place of negativity. For me, it's the absolute opposite. I follow you on Instagram as well, Sister Shivani.
No, seeing your positivity, it's very evident. And I think this is a discussion we've often had. How do you use, this is a digital always generation, the Gen Zs, how do we make that place a great place for people to be, to empower others, like what you're doing through your thing, your content reaches out and touches so many others in so many ways. Why isn't it, happening at the pace at which it should happen, this positive energy, or is it happening? Is it three of us? Is there more of that?
Isn't it like this? Yeah. What you put out is what you get.
Correct.
That's it.
So
it's
the
as
only
simple as that.
thing,
that's like life, right? What you put out. I tell my son, he's 13 years old and he's struggling right now with math and science. And he's looked at school with a negative mindset. He's a great musician already. But he struggles with certain subjects and he has this negative mindset towards school. And I say, listen, go to school with a positive mindset. You go out thinking school's going to be great and it's going to be great. And this year, 8th grade, which is a hard year for him, he's had a great school year. So,
change your thought to change your life.
That's right. That's absolutely.
Change your thought, you change your life. Change your thought, your situations will change. Most important is, even if there is a situation which cannot be changed, change your thought and change your life. Here, we can live like a victim to a situation.
Yes.
Situation is real. But if I just say that the situation is the cause because of which I allow myself to live in pain, then that will be my life. But if in the same situation, I look at it in a different way, or I start creating a different energy, then situation remains where it is. We have raised ourselves, and that raising is not just going to raise you as one person, but so many people, everyone around you. So our karma is not just our karma. Our karma gets connected to many other karma. So when you post that thing, what you said on the 3rd, it's not just the energizing when you post it. So you're going to write a higher vibrational thought, you post it. So you feel good because you've written it, so you've thought of it, written it. After that, somebody else will read it. If it creates any 0.001% shift also in someone, it is your karma which created that shift. It's your karma.
Look at it that way. It's
No,
nice.
you don't have to look at it. I'm just telling you, this is the dynamics that is working. You are not doing it for that. हम क्या कहते हैं, कर्म करो, कर्म को भूल जाओ.
फल की इच्छा मत करो.
फल की इच्छा नहीं करो. That is true. फल की इच्छा के लिए कर्म नहीं करना है. But what is also true is that every कर्म का फल होता है. Every कर्म का परिणाम होता है. So when you post that high vibrational thought, if it creates even the slightest shift in somebody, that vibration is also coming to you. So people would normally focus on how many views did I get, or what was the feedback everybody got. What it has impacted will not come in the number of views or even in any comment. It's going to happen in someone's life. And we would not even know. We would not even know whose life has changed or touched. But that's why just continue doing it. And let him use you, continue doing it. And all the blessings are coming there.
Yeah, you've actually gone a step further and written a book, Happy for No Reason.
Yes.
How beautiful is that? So you've cracked the happiness code?
I wish. I had a lot of anger issues. I was angry for no reason. But I was very aware, acutely aware of my anger, and I wanted to do something about it. And I did therapy, and I did clinical therapy and spiritual. I have a spiritual counselor who I met, and finally it was hypnotherapy that, by the way, helped me. And it's wonderful. It's actually just goes into you go into your subconscious. You go into a very relaxed state, and you can see the root cause of where it started, or what your triggers are, and there's certain things we've got in our lives that have happened to us, or that are part of our experience which we've left unresolved. So through hypnotherapy you can kind of resolve them and let them go. And so anger, I did something about it. I can't say it's not like I don't get angry anymore. I do. Sometimes the situation warrants a certain response, but I don't have anger issues anymore like I did. And my intent was that we look for joy and happiness outside of ourselves, in experiences. Today I'm going for a concert, so I should be happy. Or today I'm going to get to wear my new outfit, so I should be happy. Or today my son got a great grade, so I should be happy. But happiness, joy is something that we need to create within ourselves. We've got to find it within ourselves. We've got to feel joyful regardless of what's on the outside. The joy is something that comes from within. It's what we create. So it's an intent. I wake up in the morning, and if you wake up with gratitude, you're going to be happy. So I wake up with a lot of gratitude. Before I open my eyes, I say, thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the food on my table. Thank you for my children's health, my parents' health. Thank you for my able body that I can work. And that's a good starting point. You wake up and you say, there are so many things to be thankful for. My day is going to go well. So my intent is always there to be happy, to be joyful, to be in a positive state of mind through the day. Sometimes, the day doesn't always give you...
Was there some deep sadness that triggered this? Or is it something that you
when you discover gratitude,
you realize.
Gratitude is like a superpower.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, people don't know it till they know it. And when you know it, you know it. Yeah. So the moment, I think it was during COVID that I actually started really, I'd wake up in the morning and say, people say, oh, we have to be home. We've got to be sitting in our houses. We can't leave home. We can't shop. We can't meet friends. And I would wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I have a bath. I'd go downstairs to my living room. I live in a up and a down. And I would go downstairs to my living room and say, I love my living room. It's so beautiful. And then suddenly at the food that was prepared that day for lunch, I said, food in my house is so good. I'm so grateful for that.
You're rushing through it otherwise.
Yeah, I'm just saying we are sleepwalking through the day most of the time. And I think COVID gave me a chance to just stop and pause. I've always been a grateful person, but I think COVID taught me gratitude to the next level, because, that's when you realize, what are we chasing? What are we fighting for? What do we want? What are we always after? What do we need? We need food on our table. We need a roof over our heads. We need enough wherewithal to get by. That song, Thoda hai, thode ki zarurat hai, that rung true for me. I said, all you need is a roof over your head, food on your table, and sustenance to keep you going. And that's it. That's what we work for. But then we get into other more complicated things, and our life, and with more you want more, and with more you want more and more. So I learned gratitude, I think, during COVID.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit into COVID where I lost my husband as well. Not to COVID. It was also a sudden passing. He had a heart attack. And for a little while, just for a few months, I just didn't know. I didn't want to say any prayers. I didn't want to say thank you. I didn't want to say anything. And then I realized that, you know what, I am able, I'm able-bodied, I'm strong, I am working by God's grace, and I can look after my children, I can give them a good life. And so, my mantra at that point was onwards and upwards. I have to do whatever it takes to give my children a good life. They're not going to have a sad sack mother who's going to be miserable and crying, and I have to, it's got to be onwards and upwards for me. And then I look around and say, you know what, I still have this beautiful roof over my head, I still have food on the table, I still have work coming my way, that's God's grace, I still have an able body that I'm able to work. So it was shortly after that I said, you know what, the gratitude doesn't go away. This was a part of my journey. This was a part of my journey. My time with my husband was this many years, and now it's onwards and upwards. I have to give my children the best life I can give them. And my gratitude has not lessened an iota since. I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I bow my head down in gratitude morning, noon and night. That's how I live. And that's if anybody asks me what makes you tick, what drives you, it's gratitude. I'm just thankful.
And just making it a part of your
It's my life.
daily life.
Yeah, it is. And there's so much to be said about gratitude.
I know.
I mean, you know it. But one line, which is just the most precious line, I can't attribute it to anyone because I don't know who wrote it. But it resonated so strongly with me, is that whenever and wherever there is gratitude, whenever you're truly feeling grateful for something or your life, whenever and wherever there is gratitude, there's no room for unhappiness at the same time. You can't be grateful and unhappy. You can't be grateful and angry. You can't be grateful and negative. When you're grateful, you're grateful. And that's just the most beautiful and uplifting thing that you can feel, experience, know.
It's like this. Gratitude is on the top floor, which means the highest vibration. Unhappiness is on the lowest floor.
Basement.
You can't be on both the floors at the same time.
That's beautiful. I like
Simple.
that.
So when you've chosen to go onto the top floor, you will not be in the basement. That's all. Situation may be tough, but you've chosen to be on the top floor and look at the situation.
Yes.
So you will not experience unhappiness. You can experience difficulties, challenges, but they are all outside. But internally, you are radiating at the highest frequency. So that gratitude is that power. I mean, suddenly your acceptance level will increase in life. Your complaint to khair kisi ki hoti nahi hai uske baad, because you are resonating at that vibration of gratitude. So then everything becomes easy to accept, to understand, to let go. We also add gratitude for, suppose someone's having an issue, or an issue with a person, or an issue with a problem with a situation. Gratitude for that also.
That's a teaching, that's a lesson.
Yeah, so gratitude. Matlab specifically say gratitude for that. Specifically say gratitude for that person, because that situation, that person is giving me that opportunity to emerge certain powers in me, which I did not even know that I have.
Yes.
So even in that, then we specifically will mention that situation and person and say gratitude for this.
Sometimes when you're in the middle of that situation, you can't feel the gratitude, but you just need a little distance from it to know that this is what it brought me here. It took me to the next level because I learned from it. But when you're in the thick of it, sometimes you're not feeling the gratitude.
That gap.
You have to distance yourself to be able to see. That's the...
What you can also do is say the gratitude without feeling it.
Okay.
I'm not feeling it.
But
I'm
I
not
still
feeling
say thank you.
But I just start saying it mechanically to begin with, which means I don't feel it. But I will still say it as a part of my gratitude affirmation or my gratitude prayer.
Yes.
Just saying it then will start changing the feeling. because the thought changes the feeling.
Yes.
So if I change my thought, we are waiting that when my feelings will change, then I will create gratitude for
First
that.
the thought.
It is the first the thought and then is the feeling. So if we start changing the thought, gently and gradually the feeling will start changing.
Beautiful.
You said life is the sum of your choices. From what I'm hearing, the choices is only gratitude at every point.
But it should be.
It's your one choice that you make because that's a choice you have, right?
That's
In
right.
any situation, you
know,
have that
it's
choice.
amazing though. We talk of gratitude and, I address people, I go for corporate talks and things like that where I talk about fitness and mental health and gratitude. And, a lot of people say, there's nothing to be grateful for. And I'm like, seriously? You have a job.
Absolutely.
You're here in this event. You should be grateful for the job that you have. Do you have dinner on your table every day? Yes, you do. Do you take your children out on holidays? Yes, you do. There's always something to be grateful for. In the book, this book I've written, Happy for No Reason, because of the intent I put out there. I know, sorry, I went all over the place coming back to that. So it talked about many things. It's my struggle and my learning, letting go. I used to never be able to let go. So there's a chapter on letting go. There's one chapter on it's never too late to start anything in life. It's never too late to get on a fitness journey. Then there was one entire chapter on health. And then I said, the most important thing to me is gratitude. So I'm going to end with gratitude. And then I said, people don't know how to be grateful. They don't know, they don't see it. Okay. So I said, I'm going to write a list of things you can be grateful for. And I said, let me write a 20 point list so that people can just understand this. You can see these are at least 20 things you can be grateful for. So I started with 20. And I remember I was on my way to Pune on a car ride. I said, this is the only thing that's left in the book. Let me make the list out. I started with 20. 20 happened. 50 happened. It's okay, 50. Let's see how far this goes. I went to 75. 75 also happened. Then I said, I've now reached 100. And then I said, 108 is a very good number. So I stopped at 108. 108 things you can be grateful for. And they can be so many. It can be the big and the small, like the ones I've talked about, or small things like, the free Wi-Fi in certain places. That's something to be grateful for. Small things that we just completely take for granted. Like, you go to a hotel and somebody gives a nice little note with your name on it. That's also, people just, you look at life through a lens of gratitude, and there's things to be grateful for all around you. But if you don't know that lens, then you'll see nothing. Yeah. So 108 things, it ended with 108 things, and I left some lines blank saying you can write 108 more.
For every moment of your life, just being alive is grateful enough.
Yes, I tell you this, I am so very grateful for this moment. That we are having this conversation, that I get a chance to meet two beautiful people like yourselves and talk about things that I love. So there's always something to be grateful for.
And that gratefulness gets amplified when everybody sitting here is got the same emotion, right? Yes. And I think that's really that amplification wave is what contagious. We need to be able to create.
Positivity is a contagious thing. Absolutely. So you're a positive person, you can spread positivity. You're a grateful person, you can let people see life through that lens as well.
Correct. And
help them, yeah.
And I think you've done that through your life in many different ways, right? I think when you became the first woman cricket commentator, and people saw all the glamour and everything, but there were, struggles behind that you went through in a very large male-dominated thing.
There were a ton of struggles. It was not easy, actually.
Tell us a little bit about that time.
That cricket time.
Yeah.
Firstly, I was not a commentator. I was only a presenter.
Okay, presenter.
A lowly presenter.
Yeah.
But
so the difference between a presenter is commentating plus?
No. So a commentator
so let's understand that.
Yes,
so,
a commentator is the one whose commentary you hear while the live match is on.
Correct.
I never did that.
Yeah.
I was a presenter, and a presenter can do anything before, during, like in the mid innings or after the show.
And also do commentary if needed or not?
Can. But I never did.
So it's an over thing. You never did.
I was a presenter, I was an anchor, and I did the pre-show, the mid-show, and the post-show. Yeah. And it was the first time I was doing anything live. And when you do something live like this, it's fine. If I make a mistake, someone can call cut and we can retake. But when you're doing live in front of a country of 1 billion plus people who are crazy about cricket, words once uttered cannot be taken back. So when the camera is there and the red light comes on, There were times I would freeze. There were times I would stutter and stumble. I'd never done any live anything before. So it was panic stations for me to begin with. I was like, what am I doing here? And at the end, and to be honest, a lot of because I was the first woman to be on a panel like this,
right?
a lot of the gentlemen in the gentleman's game were not very happy that I was around. Like, what does she know? For a lot of people, the understanding is if you're presenting or doing anything connected with cricket, you have to have played. I haven't played cricket. I was a presenter. So there'd be times when I'd turn to legend number 1, legend number 2, legend number 3 sitting next to me, and I'd say, sir, and I've thought of some convoluted question which may not be relevant or may be relevant, I don't know, but I've asked a question and it's live. And legend number 1 would just look at me, turn to legend number 1's camera and say whatever else that he had in his mind not connected to my question. And then I'd be like, what am I doing here? I'm like, what am I? I'm not even like, it's like I don't exist. And at the end of every show, I would put my head down on the desk and cry. Because I was like, what am I doing here? This is not feeling very good. Nobody takes me seriously. I don't think I'm welcome here. This is a boys' club and I'm not welcome here. And this, of course, adds to the anxiety. This adds to the nervousness. So I would just barely open my mouth, and then at the end of 1 week, there was an intervention. The channel came up to me and said, we know you're struggling a little bit. And I'm like, are you going to replace me? What's happening? I was all over the place. They said, listen, we've chosen you amongst like 1,000 women. There's a reason why you're here. You're not a commentator. You're not an analyst. You're not an expert. You are a presenter. And no question is off the table. No question is off the table. Ask whatever you want, because you are representing the non-cricket purist. Yeah. Your average person who doesn't know everything about cricket. So go knock yourself out. So then, they say, and heaven and hell is in your head. It's like a switch. From being in hell where everything was going wrong and it was just like an absolute mess. Okay. I just said, I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to go enjoy myself. And I went on, literally, I had tear-streaked face, and I did some like whatever and went on to the panel and I sat over there and I asked my question to legend number 1, and legend number 1 as usual ignored me. And then I said, no, but you didn't answer my question. And the fact is it's live and that red light is on him. So he had to answer. And then eventually I was like, this is fun. I have a lot of power in my hands. And the other thing that live cricket taught me, and you learn it, and you can learn it, anywhere and everywhere. And that is that, when I used to be presenting something and I had learnt up some fantastic lines to say about, say, Rahul Dravid. And I'm thinking about those lines and I'm thinking about those lines. I'm not present in what's going on over here. And then when my lines came, I'd go and say the lines, but I was not involved in the discussion. So either I was thinking about what I had to do ahead, or if I stuttered and stumbled and made a mistake, and I'm like, oh God, what did I do? I just messed up these lines. So either I'd be dwelling on the past or thinking about the future. I ceased to be in the present moment. And live cricket taught me that all we have is this moment. All we have is this very breath. So yes, when you have to say those lines about Rahul Dravid, you deal with it when you get to it. And okay, a mistake happened, let it go. What's important is that you have to be in this very moment. And that's what I learned on live cricket. It's just it was a revelation. I was like, wow, that's nice.
There you go. And
Very few people.
That is probably a learning that you've carried and will take you
for the rest of my life. Yes, and I learned it.
Imagine.
I learned it on the cricket panel.
For you, being in the moment and realizing the power of now was a phenomenal, discovery, probably when you were there in the middle of this whole cricket thing with India, with billions of people around the world watching you. And today, when you look back, at that point, did you know that this was going to shape and transform your life so much?
Well, Sister Shivani, you tell me, everyone has to learn it at some point in their lives, right? To live in the moment. That is one of the most basic spiritual teachings that there is. Meditation is that. Be in the moment. be in this breath, live in the moment. I didn't know that cricket would teach that to me, but you have to learn at some point, right? And mostly it's through, I guess, in your trials and tribulations, that's the time you learn it, when something difficult happens, rather than just becoming that, letting your head become that. You just have to say, you know what, I have to just deal with this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment. So you learn it anyhow.
And you realize
you learn it.
You realize that had that challenge not come, you would not have discovered. So
Yes.
sometimes even the
Yes.
challenges that come
Yes.
are a way for you to
But
understand
one
and
more thing,
discover
since we
yourself.
are on cricket, one more thing that cricket taught me. It was that, that was the first time everybody was watching. Up until then, I'd done a show called Shanti, which was a daily soap opera that used to come 5 days a week in the afternoon. So there was a certain audience for it. Housewives, grandmas, little kids come back from school, that time. But cricket changed everything around. And the one other thing that I learned during the cricket, one was heaven and hell is in your head. Two is that you have to learn to live in the moment, be in the moment. The third thing is that, in life, and for someone, say, who's in the media, there'll be people who like you and there'll be people who don't like you. And the people who like you will love you. Great, thank you, grateful for that. There'll be people who don't like you also, and you can't change their minds. So what I learned at that time is that, there'll be people who like you and there'll be people who don't. And what's more important than getting everybody to like you is just be the best, truest, most honest, earnest version of yourself. Just be yourself. Be true to yourself. That is what is important. Be authentic.
Don't play a role.
Don't play a role. Be authentic. And the people who like you will like you. There'll be people who don't. And forget it, let's put media aside, but generally in life also.
Yeah.
There'll be people who like you. You work in a 9-to-5 job at an office. There'll be some people who like you, will be drawn to you and are your friends. And there's some people who are repelled by you and will never be your friends. Rather than pleasing people and rather than trying to be something else and someone else to get them to like you, just be yourself, be authentic, be real. And that is another learning from that time. And it's okay that people don't like, it's okay. Because what people think is not of any value. What people think doesn't pay your bills. Yeah,
There's
what people
also self-worth was somewhere made dependent on public opinion.
Yes.
So we thought, I'm a good person when everybody says I'm good. Validation. So, but self-worth also, no? I'm good when you say I'm good. And if you say no, then it's not about you for me. And then it is about me. Then that is what troubles me. So then spiritually we understand that I am who I am. It's like this beautiful sari you're wearing. It's your choice. You have bought it. You like it. And you are wearing it. The 10 people you meet will have an opinion about it. And if they're going to give an honest opinion about it, then 10 people might have different opinions. Somebody will say, it's the best I've ever seen. And somebody will say, like, how could you have bought this? So the sari is the same. I mean, the costume is the same. So the opinion that someone has about even what you're wearing is based on their choices and their sanskars.
Yes.
So their sanskar. So when I'm giving an opinion about what you're wearing also, I'm reflecting my choice in terms of colors. So if you remember that, then you will not expect everybody to say, what a beautiful sari. You will say like, okay, you are liking what I chose. Your choice is different from mine and all of you are right. So we just have to remember that, like that, because if I ask you, will everyone like your sari? You say, no, everyone has a different choice. It's easy to understand that.
Yes.
But then the same thing is like, will everyone like me of what I am today? No. Because that will also depend on people's sanskar and their choice.
But it's very difficult for people to actually really understand that, because when something is said to them, they take it on them.
Yeah, but take care when something good is being said to you. So we learn a very powerful line, Ninda Stuti ek saman rehna hai. It's like a pendulum. Keep it in the center and take care during the appreciation. So when somebody is appreciating you, just say it's their sanskar. It's their sanskar. So you keep your pendulum in the center. If you get a little excited during the appreciation, 20 degrees this side, then 20 degrees this side during criticism. If super excited in appreciation, then super low. It's वो pendulum बिल्कुल उतना ही घूमेगा उस तरफ. So you just take care in the appreciation. You have to do nothing in the criticism. आपको कुछ करना ही नहीं पड़ेगा. You just keep the pendulum in the center in the appreciation.
That's beautiful.
Sustained happiness, right?
Appreciation should not make you super excited. If you in appreciation you say उनका संस्कार है. This is their goodness that they are saying this. In criticism also you will say it is theirs. Of course you take a feedback to see if there's anything I need to change.
Yes.
Nothing more than that.
That's beautiful. Just the one side you have to worry about, not the other.
And
Not
which
the
is
other
the
one
easy
will
one.
take care of
Because
itself.
And the easier one.
The easier one, yeah, the easier
That's the
one.
best part.
And that's why the instrument consciousness that I'm an instrument, I'm just doing it. Ego nahi badhegi na with appreciation, then with criticism nothing will affect.
How beautiful.
And even if it does, you'll just be able to correct it and change it immediately, and you will not even hold any negative thought for the person who said it to you. Even if I say, no, but I know who I am, but I will like, but why did they say that? Won't even have that thought. Like same for the sari. It's okay, everyone is supposed to have their own choices. Same will be even for me as a person. Everyone's going to have their own choice. It becomes very easy. So your self-worth is not dependent on others, but then you also don't create anything for the other person. Then that makes you the highest version of yourself. That will keep you to that highest version. And then you keep working on yourself. Again, knowing that people will still have their opinion. And in a world now where people are very vocal about their opinions.
Anonymous opinions.
On social media, even very, and I think, the outfits you must have worn during cricket must have also been commented upon.
Too much.
I mean, so many things, right?
Too much.
So see how cricket, something...
I wish I'd met you then, Sister Shivani, because I was like, what are they writing? What are they saying? Oh my God.
I know. So. No, but how it's interesting, right? How one event, one activity, one sport, unites people in a country beyond, color, creed. This is a fascinating part of positive energy that gets created
in
unity. It's a national passion. I mean, even at Jet Synthesis, we do a lot in cricket, right? We own a cricket team in the Maharashtra Premier League, and we won both the Ratnagiri Jets, won both the inaugural versions, and I keep telling them exactly. The fact that we have won is because of our hard work. We've done that. Let it not go into that zone that, and if we win it for the third time, we'd probably be the only team to have won, in a sports thing 3 times from the inaugural part. Many teams have won 3 in a row, right? But very important, and you can take these lessons out, or in, even in simulated cricket, where we, have millions of people through Real Cricket and Sachin Saga playing cricket. This is a generation, young generation, new sport. Now it's part of the Olympics. But the top 50 players from the 500 million downloads that we have, the 200, the top 50, one is on a wheelchair and one has one eye. And my first thought was, out of that whole outcome was, if they go and really win a medal for India, they will win it in the main Olympics, not in a Paralympics. Right now there's a lot of discussion around Paralympics.
Yes.
So it's what you look at through the sport that catches attention. Like today from that activity, we've had such a plethora of discussions that can be life transforming, right? It's about picking what you
same
find.
For life's any situation.
Yes.
Same for not just this sport, same for any situation in life. What you pick out of it.
It's the lens.
Yeah,
it's the lens you look at.
The lens with which you can look at, anything from there. But, moving from your cricket to your fitness. I mean, you are this year the fitness icon of the year for IWN, and so many accolades you won. And that's another very powerful, space that is now, I think, inspiring generations to, of course, take care of the physical part of health. But as we all know, that the mental strength is so related, right? If you're mentally strong, you'll be able to, that's only then can you really get a physical health. So how have these two played out in your life? Your physical health, your fitness, your mental health, have all of them actually come together the way you wanted it, or they're still falling into place?
I think everything is a work in progress. We are a work in progress. So when it comes to the physical health part of it, don't judge me if I tell you how it all started.
Please do. Now I want to know.
No, because when I did cricket, which was in 2003, which is 21 years ago, people just thought I was sporty. I was a presenter with cricket, but I was not by any means like I'm fitter now than I was 20 years ago, let's say. So it was in 2008, I was invited to be a part of a show called Khatron Ke Khiladi, Fear Factor, with Akshay Kumar hosting it, and it was the long version, 13-day version of it. And I said, if I'm going to be on national television, I want to be a strong contender, and I want to be a strong contender in the show, and I want to look good doing it. So that's how from the time I signed, that's the first time I took a gym membership, which I used regularly. And I got a trainer to help train me, and I didn't win. I didn't win Khatron Ke Khiladi. I reached the 10th day out of 13, which was nice, yeah. But what that gave me was the gift of fitness, activity, exercise, looking after my physical health. So even when I was in South Africa shooting the show, we do 2 stunts in the day, shoot 2 stunts in the day, and then come home and I'd go for a run after that because I was really into it. I even broke my foot a few weeks later, and the first thought that crossed my mind was, now what's going to happen to my work? It was like, what's going to happen to my exercise? So it became a part of my life. And I think with fitness, if you want to be fit and strong and healthy, you've got to do something that you can do on a sustainable level, that you can do for a long period. Going to the gym twice a week and then doing whatever else is not going to work. You've got to find some way to do activity or perform some kind of physical activity 4 or 5 times a week at least. So find something that's sustainable. So if you've never gone to a gym, don't start with the gym because it's not going to happen. You're not going to make it to the gym 5 days a week. So start with walking twice a week, something else twice a week. So you keep that activity going and then build on that. So be it physical, physical fitness or generally health. When you're looking at a diet, also it's got to be something that's sustainable. If you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to eat really healthy Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday eat ice cream every day, it's not going to work out. So either way, with physical health, and when you're on a journey of wellness, you've got to find something that's sustainable. And when you talk of mental health, I mean, you can have a 6-pack and you could be super fit and you could be running a marathon, but if you're not okay here, not in a good space mentally and emotionally, none of it counts for anything. So first there was a time whenever I'd be in a little bit of a negative situation, I'd go for a run and things would feel better. And then when you feel negative or angry or in a negative space for a period of time, you want to do something about it, address it. Speak to someone, go to a counselor, deal with it, do what needs to be, do the work. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I had anger issues. I was a very angry person. I mean, I'd walk onto a set with a scowl on my face. And I can say I'm not that anymore. Because I identified something that needed some work.
You were able to work on it.
So with the physical fitness as well, I got onto a journey and I found a space which I can easily do. I make exercise a part of my life activity every day. So it's got to be something that's sustainable. And even with mental health, and when you're not feeling good emotionally, that's not to say I'm always happy and always, in a positive state of mind. There are times when I'm not in a good state of mind. I will address it. I will do something about it. I'll speak to someone about it. I'll turn to someone who can give me a perspective, a mirror, saying you are only looking at it through this lens. You need to look at it from this perspective as well. So I think you've got to firstly identify what your problem is when it comes to the mental health part of it. Be aware that there's something that needs work.
Because the biggest problem on mental health is acceptance, right? Firstly, understanding even people around you, and there is a stigma today in society. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the incidence of weakening mental health go up significantly post the pandemic.
Yeah, but what she's talking about is actually emotional health.
Right.
Yes.
Even emotionally we should be aware that I'm going through an issue here, not an issue here. Issue here is there, but emotionally I'm not in my best energy.
Yes, right. I want to do something about it.
Yeah.
And if it persists for more than a day or 2 or 3, we can all have a bad day.
Yeah.
We can all have maybe 2 bad days. But if you're feeling a little low for a week, then do something about it. Address it. Meet someone. Talk to someone. I must tell you, the first time I went to a psychologist, I finished the appointment and I happened to tell my mom, and she said, why did you go and meet a, why did you meet a psychologist for what?
That's what I said.
I said, because I was not feeling, emotionally all right. I was not feeling, but you can talk to me. I said, no, I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
Go talk to your friends. I said, I wanted to talk to somebody who's equipped to help me. And now, post the pandemic, people are much more open about.
Very true. Now it's more.
Yes.
And they're open to the idea and they're ready to take help also. And that is what is needed, because then you're able to heal it in the initial stages.
Do you think the need for this has increased?
You mean to say the numbers? Yeah. Very high comparatively. Very high post-COVID. Though we can't figure out what's the connection. But yes.
So what are some of the larger things that you feel need to change? Because if society at large is feeling a lot more of this, what can we do?
Take care of it as emotional health. Why, when we are feeling low, we don't do anything about it? Because we called it normal.
In the past.
Stress normal, hurt normal, anger normal, feeling low normal, comparison normal, criticizing normal, jealousy normal. So all emotional disease, we called it as normal. So if I live in that spectrum of a lot of this, and then it's not just me, it's the air. Because society is calling it normal, not just I am calling it normal. So everybody is allowing themselves to create this lower vibrational energy. Like she said, gratitude here, then complaining here. They seem to have a problem with everything in life. So for complaining, that is also a lower energy. So we're also creating a lower vibrational energy air. That's also affecting people's mind. And so my emotional resilience will dip. And if my emotional resilience dips, and there comes a situation, I might not be able to be in my best state there. And sometimes without a situation also we are experiencing depression. So it's not there has to be a situation for it to trigger. It's just happening.
It's an extended period of time of feeling low that puts you into that.
For some people it can happen that way. Because they are not able to pinpoint that something happened. But another thing also, I feel it is the gut-mind connection.
Yeah. Also, in the
take
past,
care of the gut also. Yeah. That's also having an influence, because because we meet people who are working on gut health. So even simple things like changing of diet is helping people to overcome that depressive symptom and anxiety issue.
Yeah.
Which means heal the gut and the mind is getting better.
Two things I want to ask you, sister. One is that, very often you hear people, when somebody's feeling low for a period of time, snap out of it. Snap out of it. You can't just snap out of it. When actually somebody is suffering from depression, you can't snap out of it. And yet that is something that was normalized. You're feeling low, snap out of it. Go for a run. You'll feel better. That's one. The other thing is, with now so much availability of counselors and help, why is it that we're still seeing so many cases of suicide? I see on social media, I see news of somebody who's committed suicide. I'm saying this person is an educated person with everything going for them. What made this happen?
That was a depression not diagnosed. Because depression symptom is suicidal thoughts. So in majority, because we've seen big numbers, right, this year, and big numbers of depression. So that means there is a very big number of depression which was not diagnosed, not treated. And very rarely would somebody commit suicide because of a situation. Right, this is my situation, I'm stuck and so I don't want to live. It's depressive thoughts, suicidal thoughts, which sometimes when you're alone and that thought just overpowers you. And that's why there's suicide helplines. So anyone who just talks comes out of that thought process. Suicide helplines have helped so many people, because all that you need is someone to talk and to come out of that thought which is overpowering you that time, but take your treatment.
But with so much help available right now, and the fact that mental health is talked about so much, why does it still persist?
Because I will not come to know that I'm in depression. I will just feel I'm feeling low, I'll get okay. Because the world said feeling low is normal. The world will have to stop calling emotional disease as normal. They will have to say stress is not normal, anger is not normal, irritation is not. Then I will be more aware. I've been low for 5 days, this is not normal. So now let me talk to. Everybody said this is normal, ठीक हो जाओगे. इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है?
And if you can't maintain that, say that positive vibe, etc., you also can't radiate it to others. I mean,
both of
your
us,
children,
yeah.
I mean, you have two wonderful children. You know, you must be realizing that, right? When you are not feeling good up to it,
That's right. You
can't do that.
Yeah.
And therefore there's a role for each person to play, not only for themselves, but even for the people around them,
That's
you know,
right.
to be able to,
That's right.
to do that. So how do you do that with your children? What's that relationship there?
My daughter, I adopted her
Yeah.
4 years. She's been with us 4 years now. She came at the age of like 4.5-ish. And my son is 13. And I look back and say the best thing I've ever done is my children. The best thing that's ever happened to me is my children. With my son, whenever he feels a little not okay, I set him up with this counselor who really he is able to open up to. And I don't want him to have I don't want him to hold anything
Back.
That's when it festers, that's when it eats you up inside, that's when things, that's when you can dip into a low. So whenever either of them, my daughter's too early for any kind of counseling, but whenever either of them feel a little low, we try and address it, talk about it as much as we can. So that's as far as them being low is concerned, but my kids and I, we are like a team. And we go on holidays together, and I am a very present mom. So the days I'm working and I'm not physically around, I'm not around. But the days I'm here, they can't get me away from them. I'm like right in front of them like that. So I do all the drops and pickups and everything. So yeah, my kids, my son is he's gifted with music. And my daughter is this bright spark who's got this amazing energy, and it's amazing. Her karma from the middle of Madhya Pradesh, small town called Tikamgarh, during the pandemic.
Oh, it was your
The match happened, and my husband went to go and get her. And small little town, and she's come from Middle India to Mumbai. And she's just changed our lives.
What a beautiful difference she's made to your life.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
In return to hers.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you talk of success or things like that, subjects like that with them, or how do you also evaluate that?
They
from
have
your angle?
they have no interest in what I do.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Like there's this one show I was hosting on a news channel. It was an interview-based show. I one day put it on for them, and they were like, whatever. They're not interested in any of that.
Point yet.
The one thing that irritates my son is that you're into fitness and you're always imposing it on me. And he's not into sport. He's into music. He can play 4 musical instruments. He's into art. He's a creative person. So I said, but we all need to have some kind of activity to keep. I don't have to do that with my daughter because she's very active. She does taekwondo and gymnastics, and she's really an active little girl. But with him, I force him to exercise, and he's like, you're always forcing me. I hate it, and I hate exercise. And I'm like, but we all have to exercise. Just that it's like something we have to tick off to do. It's like you wake up, have a bath, brush your teeth. Every day, there's got to be about half an hour, 45 minutes of some activity. So that's the only thing he has a real grouse with me about. But otherwise, it's a lovely open relationship. I have always told them that, you can talk to me about anything. I'm your safe space. My daughter didn't know my husband very well because it was only about 8 months. But my son really, really misses him. And there are many times he said, I want to vent, Mom. So I said, you can say whatever you want. Tara's not in the room. You can say whatever you want. In this safe space, you can say whatever you want. Just say it. Get it out of your system. You want to cry? Cry. Let it out. Because you will definitely feel lighter when you do. So then he rants and he raves and he cries. And then he says, Mom, I'm feeling much better now. So he shares a lot with me. He tells me everything that's going on in his life. So I'm grateful for that because, in today's day and age, it's so important to have open lines of communication. So let's hope. He's 13 now. Let's hope it stays that way.
No, it will.
Because when you're teenagers, you don't really want to share everything with your mom.
Every phase of life brings a different joy, and what you rightly say, being grateful for.
But I tell you something, when he's 13 years old, and whenever I go to school to pick him up, no other 13-year-old does this, and I say, this is my win. I stand over there, and from across wherever he is, he spots me, come running to hug me. Whereas other teenagers are like, oh, mom's come again, I don't want to look. But when he sees me, comes running like that, mama. So I look at that as a win.
That you're bringing that, yeah. She's drawing that, right, from there. Yeah. No, I think.
And also, I must tell you this. Sorry to interrupt you, but there are times, when Tara and I are lying on the bed, and Veer's on one side and Tara's on the other, and I just say to myself, I am very, very, very lucky. I'm very privileged to have a journey like this, to be a biological parent and an adoptive parent. It is something very special. It really is. It's hard to describe in words, but I'm sometimes beside myself. I'm overwhelmed that I'm privileged enough to have this journey.
Who made that choice? Was it two of you?
Yes. When we were dating, when my husband and I were dating, those are the times, aapko life mein kya chahiye? What do you want? And how do you see life? And I said, I've always wanted to have one, adopt one. And it sounded very cool to say when you were in your early years. But when it comes down to actually doing it, people don't always follow through. And then after Veer happened, we said, remember we talked about having one, adopting one? He said, yes. We put the papers in. It's a long process, and the amount of paperwork that there is can make you change your mind. But we decided together, and it's the best decision. Yeah.
The way we pass on the world to them is going to be so increasingly important, and we're seeing that today in a world where there's so much uncertainty, like what you said, the vibrational energy around us is so different. Being able to pass that on.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
People say we're in Kali Yuga, yes.
Yeah.
But what do we do about that? We are born in this time,
Yeah.
so we have
We're
to do
creating
what
our
we can.
Give the answer. So what
we are
what do
creating
we do?
the Satyug.
We have to.
We have to create the Satyug.
We have to create the Satyug. So we
Yeah,
have to do
we
what
have
we
to
can do.
create.
Yeah.
We can't speak for other people. We can't change we can change other people with being positive, but that's the only thing that's in our hands, right?
Yeah, so we say create Satyug here.
Yes. That's where it starts.
Yeah, it starts here, like it'll start here, then it'll radiate to your children. It'll be the energy of your house, and that's radiating into the world. So just create your Satyug here. That's what you said, heaven or hell. It's
in your
here.
head. It is in your
it's
head.
there.
You can choose to look at life really. When you're negative, everything around you is negative. Even the good things look negative. When you're positive, even the not so good things, you'll find a solution, or you'll find a way, or you look at it in a way of, I need to overcome this, and I will. So it's all about how you look at life.
It's only the lens. The lens. So that lens is our sanskar. The lens is our sanskar. So if I have a lens of gratitude, and I'm grateful for everything. If I have a lens of complaining, that means that's my sanskar. So that's why meditation is only working on changing sanskars. And the law is sanskar se sansar banta hai.
That's beautiful.
Sanskar se sansar hai. So you change your sansar will change. Which means your world, your home, your family, your work. It changes because you've just changed the lens. So all that we have to do is work on those little sanskars where needed, and the sansar will keep changing. Whether our chota sa even this sansar, your body, changes. If you create gratitude here, even your body gets feeling better. Shikayat, complaining, even this gets affected. So this is the first sansar where I, the soul, live. Then my sansar means my world, my family,
circle, yes.
And then the sansar. Even that is going to change only with sanskars. So when we create Satyug here, then we become instruments to create Satyug there. Because wo to banna hi hai.
Bilkul.
And I think it is ultimately like coming back to the choices and, accepting things in the right way that really makes that come out. No, it's been a wonderful discussion, and I know we can keep going and talking, but I want to go into this next section, which is the mindful minute.
Yes.
I'm going to just, ask a few questions.
Rapid fire.
Like a rapid fire, if you want to call it that. But it's more mindful minutes. So you can take the
okay,
moment
it doesn't have to be rapid.
to create. You can create.
We're not
the
going to
gap
create any
come.
agitation here.
Right,
Actually,
okay.
It's a
therefore, we
calm.
called it the mindful minute, and we called it exactly the opposite of rapid fire.
Okay.
And there's no fire. It is about.
Yes.
It's good somebody like you keeps looking at yourself. But if you had to say, describe yourself in 5 words. What does Mandira mean? 5 words. What would they be?
5 adjectives.
Whatever. Words, adjectives.
Grateful, kind, loving. Can I stop at 4?
Yeah, of course. You can go up to 6 also if you want.
Oh, this is not a rapid fire. Calm down, Mandira.
Yeah.
You can come up with 5. Grateful, kind, loving, professional.
Let me add the 5th, charming.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Let me add the 6th
I'll take
one.
it. I'm not saying
I'll
it.
add the 6th one. Powerful.
Power.
Powerful soul. That's your first one actually. All the rest will come from that.
Thanks.
Powerful. Just stay in every situation with that. That's power.
Thanks.
It's powerful. Powerful. Then.
I like 5 and 6. Thank you.
The serial which you did, Shanti.
There you go.
Shakti भी उसी से आ गई है पर.
Shakti
Very
comes from
powerful
Shanti.
soul. Very powerful soul.
I'm going to dare ask her 5 words to describe you.
Achha, I also had the same question today. Okay.
Not always, sometimes.
Yeah, that's what. Surrender. Instrument. Simple. Happy. Gratitude.
Radiating. Radiant. Your radiance.
That's just about working on ourselves. The rest will automatically happen.
This is what I see. You radiate all things good.
Benevolent. That we can go on.
Yes, we can. We can. 6
Yeah.
and 7 happen always.
A moment in your life that you think changed everything for you.
There were 2. I was never intended to be in the entertainment world. So when Shanti happened for me, I was going to be in the corporate world, and then Shanti happened. So that's one moment.
Chance, I know we can.
I'll tell you
Spend
very
30
briefly.
seconds,
It was basically, I did my my post graduation in media, so I was headed towards advertising or directing behind the camera, and then this happened. So I was offered this. So that's one, and of course, after my husband passed, that was personally a very, very big turning. It's like the tectonic plates in your life shift forever. So 2 things. One good and one negative, but it's taught me a lot. I've gained a lot of, there are many things I could not do when Raj was around, and there are many things I can do now because I've had to learn to do them.
Shukriya to him
Yes.
for bringing the daughter before he left.
Yes. Do you know I say a prayer every single day?
I know, because just a few months before he moved forward.
Every day I say, thank you for our home, thank you for our children. Because Tarak, he went during the pandemic, he went.
Yeah.
And he came to Jabalpur because this place was a small little place called Tikamgarh, and Veer and I reached Jabalpur airport and we all flew back together. He went and got her. Shukriya to him for so many things. I say a prayer of thanks to him every single morning. I say thank you for all that you made for me, and thank you for all that you made of me.
Beautiful.
Every day.
One affirmation that kids and parents should say together.
Should stay together?
No, say together.
Acha. I'm a powerful soul. I'm a loveful soul. Both will have to say it for themselves. I accept you. You accept me. I trust you, you trust me. Together we create a magical relationship. Okay. So then there is no question of gap, generation gap, misunderstanding.
What is the one thing that always brings a smile on your face? Because your smile is a little
children.
infectious.
My
Huh?
children.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, nothing makes me happier than when I come home and I say, Viru, Tara. And from wherever in the house they are, they just go, Mama. That's it. That makes me happy. Oh, and my dog Bark.
Okay.
I have a dog called Bark. We call him Baku.
Oh, his
He's
name
a
is
fluff
Bark.
Bark. My son is a musician. So,
Bark,
so when we were getting the dog, I said, how about Bark? You know, Bark as in woof woof. And Bark can also mean Johann Sebastian.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So that's how he's called Bark. Of course, we don't call him Bark, we call him Baku.
Baku.
Or Baxi Pants.
No, lovely. Yeah, I'm going to ask a different kind of question. What have you learned from Mandira today?
I'm not...
No, because we always talk
Shakti.
about learning.
That's what I said, Shakti. See, because the situation was extremely tough. There were two young kids and it's happened suddenly. But how she is bringing herself, of course all the other things also we heard, yes. But losing your partner suddenly and you have two little kids there, you've just adopted a child. Everything materialistically may be fine for you, you say we have a house, we have this. But the way she has brought herself out of that, and not just herself, she has energized and empowered her children also. That's what we all need to learn. This is the power of the human mind. Every soul has this Shakti. We just have to use it. Yeah. And then otherwise we can be making a big thing out of the smallest situations in our life. Yeah. But we all have this Shakti.
So that's the inspiration for everybody here, all the audiences. It's there within everybody.
It is.
And for ones to discover. And I'm going to end with, asking you a question which is it's a little tricky because you will get an answer to that. What is the most pressing question you want to ask Sister Shivani?
Yes. Even though I'm not such an angry person anymore, how do I prevent myself from being reactive? How do I wait that moment? Because sometimes reaction is not
response.
Reaction, response. So how do I take that beat? Because there are still times when I react, when I need to respond.
So when you have reacted, first don't endorse that reaction.
Okay.
Like if I react now, I'll say, but he made a mistake. So it was okay if I reacted. So don't endorse your reaction because there is a programming happening, that it's fine. So then it will happen again. Because we've just told ourselves it's fine, baat hi itni badi thi. So then and there say, no, whatever the situation was, my reaction was not right. So I'm teaching the child here. I'm not allowing the child to say, lekin pata hai baat kya thi? Well, baat kuch bhi thi. Your reaction is your choice. It's your responsibility. So first is we don't endorse it ever, even if it's for anything. And second is just take 30 seconds, close your eyes, and being an actor, it's easy. Redo the scene in your mind. Which means same situation, just retake in your mind how you would have responded. So if you just respond in your mind, you use that visualization to just respond to that same scene, you've done a coding inside. So the next time the same situation comes, you will use that response that you have.
Not endorsed it.
Not endorsed is the first
First
thing. So don't justify it. Don't allow anybody else, because people around you may also say, sahi tha. Bolo, nahi sahi tha. Nahi sahi tha. That has to be very clear. Nahi to it will never change. And second is take 30 seconds pause and just replay the scene and more focused on what my response could have been. So there again I'm teaching myself that next time the same buttons are going to get pressed. Most situations in the day are very typical.
Yes.
Very typical. Yes. So if you just do that little visualization and retake in your mind, next time it will be a different response.
I will try.
And of course a little meditation daily obviously makes it natural. Easier.
And the other thing, sorry.
Of course you can ask 2 questions.
I have a second question. I know that meditation has helped me because I've started meditating. I was never one to be able to sit down and close my eyes, and I always needed guided meditation of some sort, something going on, telling me what to think, telling me what to do. The way to do it is actually just sit in silence. Now, I know this question can be like, how does one sit in silence? But like, what do you do? And your mind does wander, and I know all the things that people say when your mind wanders. You will pull back and say, "Look, I'm thinking this again." You can be the observer. You can observe yourself having those thoughts. But how do I still the mind? I can sit for 10 minutes. That's about it. Maybe some days 12 minutes.
But you think 10 minutes there were no thoughts?
Of course, there are thoughts.
That's what. So you cannot still your mind. You cannot become thoughtless. So don't make meditation the aim of being thoughtless.
Okay.
That, still, no thoughts. No. You can take one thought, like even if you say, I'm a powerful soul, take that as one thought and just hold on to that thought. And while you're holding on to it, it's getting absorbed into the subconscious. But you cannot be thoughtless. That's why we are not able to meditate, because we try to ye thought bhi nahi chahiye. And if you're not creating the right, the thought which you want, some other thought will pop up on the screen of the mind, because
so
the
stick
mind
to something that is positive and strong.
Yeah, and which you want to become,
yes.
which you want to be. So it's like an affirmation. And along with that, visualize it also. And visualize it not as a role that I am a powerful mother or I'm a powerful soul. So if you just hold on to the visual of this energy here, even if you just visualize it as a point of light or a little star, just visualize that, because it is the visual plus the thought which is then getting absorbed and it is becoming your personality.
It's beautiful. No one has ever explained meditation to me like this.
So then you can take any one thought, but you definitely have to visualize, because you are programming the soul. It's not about here. So we visualize that soul. And then you can visualize radiating that power to your children. Then you can visualize radiating that power to the planet. You can visualize radiating that power to someone who's going through pain today, which means healing without even knowing whom you are healing, just by radiating. So that is meditation. Meditation is not zero thoughts. We look online and we search what is meditation, so we look at someone sitting like this, so we thought sitting like this means nothing happening here. But to possible hi nahi hai.
No, also then they say, your mind is like a container and clouds will keep going by, which are the thoughts that pass. You let them pass, like the sky.
But then that is happening anyways throughout the day. Then what is meditation?
Yes.
Thoughts are passing throughout the day. It's not about just letting them pass. It is about changing them.
Yes.
It's about changing them. So just hold on that visual, create a thought, and that is getting coded inside, and then that will be in your response. That will become your personality.
From meditation to being meditative throughout.
And most important is not, some people will say, I'm very peaceful when I'm meditating. But during the day, stress is normal. No. It's like saying, I'm healthy when I'm running. But during the day, disease is normal. No. You are running so that you're going to be fit. So similarly, meditating so that you're going to be fit during the day. Not peaceful while meditating. Peaceful in a crisis. That is the result of meditation.
What a lovely session. What a lovely conversation.
Yes, what a beautiful
way
thought to end on.
To end this thing,
so nice.
And I think it's been a wonderful conversation.
Really
Thank you so much for being here, Mandira.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No,
Sorry, I talk a lot.
We loved that.
I wanted to hear more and talk less.
Today's session was about hearing you.
No, it's about you.
No. I apologize.
No, we
because
loved it.
I love Sister Shivani, and I want to hear more of her, and I know I'm going to meet her again. So it's going to happen.
You will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Shanti.
You too can start or enhance your mindfulness journey using the ThinkRight app on iOS and Android store. It's got a huge number of daily affirmations, daily journeys, daily meditations that will enable us to hold your hand as you move in this transformative journey of life.